Hello and welcome to N Focus, coming to you this week from Nakano, Broadway. I'm your host Hilka, and joining me as always is my co-host Rosalie. How are you doing on this fine evening?
I'm good, because I just came back from my Easter break, and I didn't even know I had one.
Nice.
I know the dates of bank holidays, but I've had recent jobs where you don't get any bank holidays. And then I took two days off of my annual leave to ask my boss. I was like, can I chill out after the initial switch to busyness? And she was like, yeah, of course. And then I came back to work and they're like, oh, remember, we're not in on Friday and the following Monday. And I'm like, wow, how did I manage to sort this? That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I was in for 2 days and then I was off again and it was great. So I'm trying to get back into non-holiday mode / switch to mode. Because
Well, at least some of the news on this episode will help you get there, I assume.
yes. So that's good. There's it's gonna ramp up again soon, so I'm mentally preparing myself, so today will be grand. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm also pretty tired. I've just had a very busy couple of weeks and it's all sort of catching up to me, but not to the degree that I can't do the podcast, obviously, or else you wouldn't be listening to this, I suppose. But yeah, I turned 31 last week.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm jealous.
Had a lot of fun. It's, it's obviously not that much different from turning 30. I mean,
No.
turning 30 is a big thing, but being 30 is not that big a thing.
Yeah. I had my 30th during the Panny D, so
Ooh, yeah.
it was not fun. And so I don't really get to do the big 30th thing like everybody does. Sad. And also the whole thing of biological clock stuff means that I don't really like this being in my 30s, but it does mean that, you get cool stuff for your birthday, which I assume you did. And
I did.
Means cake. And it means that the older you get, the more you can, have an excuse just to sleep and play video games and not go outside. Which, my favorite thing.
Yeah, I'm not really a going out kind of person. I like going outside. I live in a very nice city and I love being in the city. But I've never been the kind of, let's all go out tonight and go get drinks.
Oh.
I like a nice dinner, a fun dinner with friends.
Yeah.
But I'm not the go into bars and clubs kind of person.
No, I think, God, I think if someone in their 30s went to a club, it'd be a bit awkward.
Yeah.
The last time I went to one, I must have been 20, and I felt ancient. Everybody looked like they were 14, and they probably were, because I used to sneak into things, so...
But I was never that. I have been to exactly one pub crawl in my life.
Whoa.
And it was during introduction week at my university back when I lived on the other side of the country. And I went to 3 out of the 12 or however it was. And I was like, nah, that's enough. I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I liked it. Well, because when I was on 18, there was loads of rock metal clubs and stuff, and I was like, this makes it better. And then they started all turning into pop clubs, and I'm like, no. But there's a place called Opium in Edinburgh, which I hope still exists. It's been there since the 80s, and it had £1.50 drinks, which when you're skint is amazing. And it's like a metal goth club. And you used to always go there before you went to the main one because it was cheap. But also everybody was nice because they were all metalheads. And if you just felt safe. And the music was all System of a Down because it was, the time. And it was great.
Yeah.
I do miss that. But I don't miss how loud they are and like
Yeah.
people spilling drinks on you and creepy people. And yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah. So I just had a nice dinner at home
Aw.
with first my family and then 2 days later with my friends.
Aw.
I cooked more or less the same thing for both of them.
Hey.
It was very good. And it was, I'm not going to say like easy because it took like about an hour and 15 minutes of prep work. And then it needed to be in the slow cooker for 6 hours.
Fancy.
So I got to sit in the smell, getting progressively hungrier as it got closer to dinner.
Oh, I love that. That still sounds more fancy. I usually just have like sweeties and cake. Or have a takeaway.
I also had that.
Yeah. I got went to my in-laws for Easter, and my mother-in-law makes like she's insane. Even if she's not cooking, she'll do like a massive like buffet spread of everything and make sure there's loads of veggie things. But they got us Easter eggs, and in the card they were like they made like a pretend voucher that was like good for one takeaway at your favorite breakfast takeaway place. So that was cute, and we got it the next morning, and it was amazing. Sorry, baked potatoes are so much better when they're delivered to your door. Oh man, good times. Now I really want.
I had not considered a baked potato for breakfast.
But I guess it was like brunch.
Okay.
But I mean, it's always good time for a baked potato. Although I'm not sure you would.
I do like a baked potato.
Yeah, I'm not sure you would like, because I always have it with cheese and baked beans, which is like the most UK sounding thing ever.
I'm not a baked beans enjoyer.
No, yeah,
I've had them. I'm not a fan.
It's like, it's just I love a can of baked beans. God, that's very UK-y. But they also do like milkshakes. It was good. Oh, I'm really hungry now. Don't.
Well, we can feed at least our minds by talking about some news.
Ooh.
But before we have to do that, we have to, of course, acknowledge that, hey, we have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/gamepodular if you want to kick us a couple of dollar reviews to help keep the lights on, help pay for hosting costs and all that sort of thing. We'd really appreciate it. You don't have to, but it would be very cool of you if you did.
Yes.
And also, hey, the YouTube launch went pretty good. I did have to take it down to fix an audio issue and re-render everything, but that's all sorted now.
There's always something. It's all good.
Yep. So if you are one of the handful of people who found us on YouTube, hey, thanks. I hope you stick around for more episodes, because that's what this is. I promise you they're not all nearly as long as the last one.
No. And if you are on YouTube listening, type baked beans in the comments just so we know for sure.
Yeah. Tell us your favorite brunch picks. Get that hashtag engagement going.
Yeah. While you get hungry for Switch 2 news. Ooh.
Yeah. Before we get into the Switch 2 news, we're going to start with what we start with a lot, which is new games on Nintendo Switch Online.
Ooh.
There were 3 Mega Drive or Genesis games and 1 Game Boy Advance game. We have Streets of Rage, the classic beat 'em up, Super Thunder Blade, a sort of like shoot 'em up where you control a helicopter, but it's one of the ones where the camera is like at the back of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
This game looks really frantic and honestly quite stressful. And then the last one is E-SWAT, City Under Siege, which is an like Mega Man-ish action platformer. And then for the Game Boy Advance, we have Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones.
Oh. That's
Is that a well-known one? I'm not like super knowledgeable about Fire Emblem.
Yeah, it's not one of the most popular ones. Although that'll be on NSO soon because of the GameCube games, but it's like one of the harder ones because I think that's the one that has like permadeath by like default. I mean, Fire Emblem games are known for having permadeath, like, but in the more recent ones, you can turn it off.
Yeah.
Which, if any game has that, I'm sorry, I'm gonna turn it off.
Yeah.
Don't like getting attached and then a character dies. This is not my childhood in Final Fantasy VII all over again. But no, this one's really cool. The sprite art's really cool, and I think it's an introduction to some big characters for the first time. I think I've not played every Fire Emblem game in the world, but I did. I'm pretty sure I have played this one though. I might not finish it because it might have been on Virtual Console, or it might have been one of the. I think we've mentioned the Ambassador program before. No, I don't think it was one of those.
I don't think it was. No, I don't remember. I was into the Ambassador program, and I don't think I ever saw it in there.
I have like a flashback in my head of me playing it, and I didn't own the Kart because I didn't have many Game Boy Advance games back in the day. So, but I can play it now. Oh.
Yeah. Now we're gonna get into the Switch 2 news. The first one that we have is an update from our last episode where we talked about a lot of Switch 2 news. Of course, we mentioned that pre-orders in the US and Canada were being delayed due to the then announced tariff situation. But now we know that at least retail pre-orders are going to begin on April 24th, which is hopefully I will get this episode out on time that you will hear this before then.
And you can all be skint like the rest of us.
Yeah. Notably about that, the prices of the system, the consoles, will remain unchanged because there was an electronics exception to the tariffs announced. But the accessories will be going up, at least in the US, but notably not in Canada. The dock is going up by $10. The strap is going up by $1, which I guess, like, that seems like, why bother at that point?
Yeah.
But, okay. And everything else, so like the camera and all that stuff and the controllers is all going up by $5. Also, amiibos look like they're getting a price hike, at least in the US as well. The new Zelda amiibos are going from the standard price of $20 to $30. And the Street Fighter amiibos, which are larger than normal ones, are 40 smackaroos, which is a lot of money for an amiibo.
Yeah. I don't even know what the most I've spent on an amiibo. Oh, well, I guess I didn't spend it because I think I got it as a gift. But the Champion set for Breath of the Wild retailed at like 50. But then you get like 4 in there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a set then.
Yeah. So it was kind of worth it. So I don't know. I've never like, I was quite clever because like after the initial like Wii U wave, I mean, they've kind of, they kind of weren't cool. So I used to go on this website called CEX here and just get them secondhand and built up credit and then kept getting ones I was missing. I still haven't got there's like a gold Mario that's really expensive secondhand. And I think there was a gold Mega Man one as well. Not real gold, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Maybe the Joker one was quite expensive, but it's like one of the best ones. I did once accidentally buy 2 of one that got rare and then sold one, which sold, like, the bid was so good that it just reimbursed the other one. So that was nice.
Damn. Yeah.
I didn't resell it to be mean. I was like, I have 2 of the same thing. I kind of wish I kept it and kept one in a box, but hey. Yeah, that sucks. I'm never going to finish my collection now.
I discovered right before we started recording that an amiibo I really want costs 130 euros secondhand.
Oh, it's so sad.
Which is just great for me. I'm not an amiibo collector, as I've mentioned on the podcast. I own exactly one. It's the Magnamalo amiibo that came with the collector's edition of Monster Hunter Rise. Wouldn't mind having the Malzeno one for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, but I have found two in this country, one of which is a flat 130 euros, and the other is bid for it and find out.
Oh, well, if I ever see a UK one and it's not extortionate, I will grab it for you. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure the actual NFC tech isn't region locked or anything.
I hope not.
I
have bad experiences with region locking.
No, I don't think it is, because I have two, Rob the robot.
Yeah.
I have two amiibos of him because they did an alternate colorway. They did like a Famicom version because
nice.
Because in Japan that was the coloring they had when he released in Japan, and then there was like the US one. And for some reason I decided at the time I must have gone, I want both of these. And I'm pretty sure the Famicom one is actually one I got like from a Japan seller off of eBay or something. And it lets me use it as you would. So it must be all right. Fingers crossed. I mean, they're more for sitting on yourself and looking pretty anyway.
Yeah.
I could go on about amiibos for so long. But yeah, sad. I'm probably still going to ask for the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom ones for Christmas, though. So I'll just have to warn my family that, hey, they're more expensive now.
Yeah. I mean, we did go out of our way to specify that this is in the US so far. We have not been able to find how/if at all this is going to affect Europe. We'll keep you updated on that if/when we do find that out, I suppose.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Although, like some things have gone up over here because of tariffs and things. So I'm like,
Yep.
I think it's easier to just assume that it's gonna be. But, never know.
Yeah. And the other big piece of Switch 2 news, at least about the console, is Nintendo quietly removed all mention of variable refresh rate, or VRR, from all of the sites in its various regions when talking about the Switch 2. This is technology that would have allowed games to run more smoothly by removing frame skipping and flickering to deal with different TV refresh rates and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie, I don't remember reading about this at all before it got removed. I don't remember writing about this in my notes from the Direct.
Yeah, I don't think it was mentioned in the Direct. I think it was like in small print on the Nintendo website.
And there were a couple of game announcements with their websites like, ooh, and it works with the VRR tech from the Switch 2, and it no longer says that. So I don't know if that's just like some miscommunication that happened on their end, or that like it was a thing that like they were trying to make work during the development or during the design process for the console, and then ultimately just they couldn't, or I don't know. But
'tis peculiar.
Yeah, it is very strange. I mean, we talked about last episode as well that the messaging and the exact details around the Switch 2 has been just messy.
Yeah.
And it's been very frustrating tracking everything down, that there isn't just a good singular source, especially from Nintendo, that has literally everything.
Yeah. It's just a bit from here, a bit from there, a bit from over there. And it's like, but why?
Yeah. Our next news story, hey, we haven't talked about this one in a while. The Pocket Pair patent suit.
Oh, of course.
It's still an ongoing story, of course. As a reminder, Nintendo filed some patent infringement suits against Pocket Pair, claiming that they were, infringing on Nintendo's patents, I suppose. That is what that means. Mm-hmm. Pocket Pair, in response, has filed a series of what are referred to in the articles I read as preparatory briefs, arguing that the patents that they have alleged to have been infringing upon should never have been issued in the first place, because the concept they were supposed to be patenting was not new at the time. They have a list of games that have these mechanics from before the patents were filed that they claim are, in the lingo of the argument, prior art, which just means like, hey, this already existed before you patented it, so you shouldn't have been allowed to patent it.
Yeah.
These preparatory briefs are going to lead to some discussion, and especially legal discussion, about are these actually valid patents? And if they are not, then Pocket Pair is in the clear, as far as I can tell, because you can't infringe on an invalid patent and it's going to be presumably retracted. They filed these arguments back in February, and so far no decision has been made on it. And it took us this long to get around to it because the main source I used for this just took a while to write on it. I should also mention arguments on whether or not they actually infringed on the patents were also filed. Because if this challenge to the patents doesn't work, they then have to still prove in their defense that we didn't actually infringe on the patents either, which in one case they did already change one thing in the game mechanics, or at least in the animations, that was part of the patents that were infringed upon, so I guess they conceded on that point.
Yeah.
This whole situation, I mean, we've reported on it, I think, 2 or 3 times before this. It has remained to be very interesting because, like, Nintendo does go after, like, you know, hardware modders and emulators and stuff, and those are pretty small potatoes in the grand scheme of things. But Pocket Pair is like a decently big company. They have like they're publishing other people's indie games now as well.
Yeah.
And so it is interesting to see someone who has the actual resources to challenge Nintendo actually be able to do so.
Yeah. And I don't know what the games they mentioned are, but I do remember thinking, like, I swear some of the patents mentioned is like, I swear I have played games where those mechanics have been present.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of, Nintendo didn't bother, so that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Also, like, someone could just make, I mean, with all the AI slop, it probably is something like it already, but someone can make a Pokemon clone, and they're never gonna out money the biggest most profitable IP in the world, are they? Like,
No.
I do wonder, like, how much money they've probably spent more money on this case than they might have lost. You know what I mean? From a rival game in the first place. It just seems a bit... But then, you know, it's the same company that has that poor old Manny that did the hardware thing, and he's like forever indebted to them, so I'm not surprised, but...
Yeah. And I will say, like, what I'm about to say is not me defending Nintendo. I want to make that clear. But I at least see where they're coming from,
Yes.
right? Because as a especially publicly owned company, it is not enough to make money. You have to make the most money.
Yeah.
You have to make more money every year than you did last year forever, which that's definitely how, you know, the planet Earth works. But, and like challenging Pocket Pair on this is also a sign that like maybe they could be. I think we've speculated on this before, and for legal reasons, I am saying that this is pure speculation. That them taking on a bigger target like this with the confidence that they might win is a sign that like smaller competitors should probably not even try.
Yeah. It's like a, hey, like, don't even bother. Yeah.
And also, if this actually fully goes to trial, at least in the US, which it is looking like they want to start something in the US as well, because as a reminder, currently this is all happening in the Japanese legal system. I am an expert on neither of them, to be clear, but I do know that if something like this goes to trial in the US and a decision is made, that decision can then be used as something called precedent, which is, hey, you look at this, it happened in this case, and this is happening in our situation, so you have to rule in the same way.
Yeah.
And if they can get precedent that's in their favor, then that is also a good way to guarantee future earnings.
Yeah. Happens here too. Like when I did media law, it was just writing an essay being like, because of these past cases, then that shows you that this case should go this way. And
Exactly.
and I realized that a lot of law is just memorizing cases and, and the results of those cases.
So yeah, it's interesting to see how the story develops, and I do intend to keep reporting on it as it develops, because I think it is, of all the Nintendo legal cases we've covered so far, it is the one that interests me the most.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, I mean, in most of the legal cases we've covered, I would hesitate to call Nintendo the good guy in most of those. There was the one with modded hardware, the guy who just like was like modding switches to run in emulators for money and also dumping ROMs on them. Like, yeah, I don't know. And also not responding to any of the legal communication. Yeah, I don't know what that guy was thinking. Like, I'm not going to blame Nintendo for putting their boot down on that one. But, like, you know, doing it against Yuzu and Citra and, like you said, the guy who's in debt to Nintendo literally for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
That's just awful, you know? And finally having someone who can potentially fight back is going to be very interesting to see how Nintendo like handles that.
Yeah. Although I do hope that, I mean, I've never played the game, although I
Pal World.
yeah, although I'm still quite curious too. But I'm all like, whatever is the result, I really hope people don't get laid off as a result of them losing money. That's like a fear I have, because, you know, there's too much of that going on, and if we can prevent that, that'd be grand.
Yeah.
But
I also want to say I have no plans on playing Pal World. It looks extremely boring to me, but I'm interested in Pocket Pair as a company. And our last news story is, hey, they did another Direct.
Yes, they did.
Oh, God. Thankfully, this was only about 15 minutes, and it was only on Mario Kart World. I'm going to do a quick blow-by-blow of everything that they talked about. I do like that they emphasized the open-world nature of the game a bunch. I'm curious to see exactly how it'll be implemented. I have some concerns about that, specifically in Grand Prix mode, but we'll get into that. They showed off some of the new courses, including Mario Bros. Circuit, Crown City, Salty Salty Speedway, which looks to be Venice-inspired, Starview Peak, which is the snow level, Boo Cinema, sort of a horror-y, well, movie theater, Toad's Factory, Peach Beach, and Wario Shipyard, as well as saying that there will be familiar favorites from the past history of the series that will show up as well.
Come on, Coconut Mall.
Give me Wario Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Love Wario Stadium. Baby Baby Park.
Oh.
I love that one. I mean, I just love Double Dash, so...
Yeah, if Double Dash comes on the GameCube thing, then you know...
it's so Snover for me. I'm just going to be playing that.
Yep.
There's some new characters as well, some of whom they named and some of whom were just, like, shown in the video. We got Goomba, we got Spike, we got Cow, who I'm surprised they didn't give, like, a fun, clever name to. And then we got some sort of crab, a Cheep Hammer Bro, who I think is new, but there's a part of my memory that's saying that Hammer Bro has been in the series earlier.
There was a
There,
there was a Koopa in the first one, but he wasn't a Hammer Bro one.
there's some sort of long-necked bird, and there's a penguin
Yay.
who they showed. That was one of the funniest things I saw coming out of the direct, was people cracking jokes about, like, you showed the penguin falling off a cliff set to music for Mario 64, you monsters.
Hey, we all did it.
Yeah.
I literally can't replay that level and not do it. It feels wrong.
And there were a bunch of other characters, but I wasn't sure if they were new additions. So these are the ones I wrote down that I was fairly sure of were not repeats.
Mm-hmm.
It showed off the two main modes, Grand Prix and Knockout Tour. We talked about those previously. Both of them will have 24 racers. This is the thing I was concerned about. They talked about that between different courses in the Grand Prix, you physically drive to the next race in the open world. And I kind of hope you can turn that off, to be honest. Because, like, on the one hand, I like having that amount of downtime to sort of, like, you know, if I'm playing split screen with someone, have a bit of downtime, talk about the race while you go to the next one. But, you know, that's what loading screens are for.
Yeah, I thought they did show that you don't have to have it set like that in the first direct. I'm pretty sure.
I can't remember, to be honest.
I think they did. Because that would feel
But it just kind of feels like busy work. Like, they did make a point of showing that there's a lot of exploration stuff to find in the open world. Mm-hmm. But when I'm doing a Grand Prix, especially if I'm doing a Grand Prix with friends, I just want to get to the next race.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they they teased that doing all of the Grand Prix Cups will unlock Rainbow Road, the classic. It's interesting that Rainbow Road is unlockable in this way, because in previous games, like in 8, it was just sort of, you know, it's Rainbow Road, but it's in, like, the last Grand Prix or whatever, but you didn't have to unlock it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's always like that. It's always just in the, like, the hardest, you know, quote unquote GP set, or usually like the last one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you had to, and like a Mario Kart 64, you didn't have all the GPs from the start, and you had to, like, I'm pretty sure the last couple ones would unlock as you played them. But you didn't unlock the track on its own, to my recollection. I've played like every single Mario Kart, including the arcade ones, so you'd think that I would know off the top of my head. Yeah, that is unusual.
Yeah. They also showed off some new items. There's a coin shell, which is what it sounds like. It's a shell that you throw it forward and it creates a trail of coins on the track, which literally anyone can pick up. So try not to use it when you're next to someone, I suppose. There's the ice flower, which launches bouncy balls of ice like the fire flower, but it seems to, like, make people it hits with it also move a little slipperier than just the spin out from the fire flower. There's hammers, like what from Hammer Bros. You throw them in an arc and they stay on the course for a very short time, so they can create, like, little hazards in front of other racers. There's the Mega Mushroom, which I could have sworn was in a previous game.
It originated in New Mario Brothers on DS.
Yeah, but I could have sworn it was also in another Mario Kart, right?
Oh.
Am I misremembering?
I don't think so. There was Thunder that always makes you tiny, but I can't remember the Mega one off the top of my head. Maybe it was. I don't know.
But yeah, Mega Mushroom, like Rosalie said, it's originally from New Super Mario Bros. On DS. It just makes you really big, and when you run into people, you squish them and make them flat.
Yeah.
Feather is the one that intrigues me the most because it lets you jump, and you can use that to dodge like shells, including red shells, and you can also use them to like find shortcuts and like grinding rails.
Yeah.
And the last one is Kamek, who transforms other riders, and I'm not really sure what that accomplishes because they didn't say. And also, to quote my own notes, other weird stuff, which they were not specific about in the slightest. Some support features, smart steering, which I always hated in Mario Kart 8 because it makes, like, it always made the controls feel worse.
Yeah.
It was a little too smart for my liking.
I always thought it was good for like little kids, other than accessibility reasons. I never actually used it.
Speaking of accessibility reasons, auto accelerate, in case you don't want to be holding down one button the entire time. Auto use item. I don't know exactly how that works. Like, do you just use it as soon as you pick it up? Because some items you want to hold on to. Like, they didn't go into details on that one, but it is some sort of accessibility feature. There's tilt controls, for those of you who love using the motion controls. There's also a wheel accessory you can put the Joy-Con 2 into to feel like you're really racing. It is very funny that the wheel is very small, which I guess is accurate to, like, go-karts.
Oh, of course.
But
they also come in a set of 2, which I actually think is kind of cool. Because, like, the Wii one, you used to just get one, although it was a lot bigger.
Yeah, there's also 2 Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
So one for each Joy-Con, whereas the Wii one, like, it just did the rectangle controller, right?
No, the Wii one, you put the Wiimote into it.
Is that not the rectangle controller?
Oh, right, okay.
I never owned a Wii.
Oh, right, it's called the Wiimote. It's the proper terminology.
Yeah.
When you said rectangular controller, I thought you meant the classic controller, because that's kind of more... Right.
No. Yeah, I can see why you would... Yeah. The one that isn't the one that's just the thumbstick and the triggers.
Yes,
that's the Wiimote.
So that's, it's the Wiimote and the nunchuck is the other one.
Yeah, so that's like a good way to like set you up for split screen right away. Big fan.
Yeah.
And then you can also change things about the vertical and horizontal cameras, presumably turning them, inverting them if you're a sicko. And also maybe changing the sensitivity, but again, that's not something they went into any details on. They just showed it off that it was in the menu. Things in the open world. There are dash meals, which you go to like a drive-through like diner, and you could find a meal, and then you eat it, and then you unlock an outfit, which you can then use in races, which will have no gameplay benefits, but a lot of the outfits they showed off did look extremely cool.
Yeah, I think most of them look like they're from the mobile game, which I always got annoyed at because it had like the coolest outfits. Like I have like a vampire Waluigi, and I was like, why is this not in the main game?
Well, now it is.
Yeah. Although there was like a meme going around how the meal is like eating a burger, and then the cow eats the burger.
Yeah.
Which is a bit messed up. So like in my head, I'm like, it's a corn burger, it's a veggie burger, right? Because otherwise
it's a bean burger.
Yeah. Because otherwise that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Poor cow.
Other things you can find in the overworld, there are hidden coins you can find. There's these panels. There's P buttons that do stuff, which was not explained, but I guess we'll find out. There's new tricks you can do. There's a charge jump, which, like the feather, lets you dodge and grind and rails and even wall ride for a short amount of time. Man, this game sounds a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
There's also a rewind function, which lets you, and notably only you, move backwards to a previous position in case you miss like a shortcut or an item or something when you're practicing. I wouldn't recommend doing it during an actual like important race because again, it's just you and everyone else will keep driving. But if you're exploring or practicing, I think it's a great tool.
Yeah.
Other new modes, other modes are time trials with ghosts from other players. There's versus race with a lot of customizable rules, including new routes for tracks that are not available in Grand Prix. There's team races, which with up to 4 teams. Battle mode, I love battle mode.
Yeah.
With balloon mode and coin runners. And there's overworld missions in free roam as well. And photo mode. Love me a photo mode as well. It has 4-player split screen, 8-player local wireless with 2 systems, and even online will have 24 racers. Mm-hmm. And you can free roam in multiplayer with your friends and use that hideous screen sharing feature to show each other where you are.
At like 1 FPS.
Yeah, genuinely it looks like it's like 15 FPS.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
What a strange decision.
Use Discord. Find a way to use Discord. I'm so glad I brought all the missions and stuff, though, because I'm pretty sure I've said it on this very podcast that the best Mario Kart is the DS one because it had the missions. Because I get really bored if a game like a kart racing game doesn't have like a story mode or some sort of other thing to do.
Yeah, if it's just for the multiplayer.
Yeah.
You don't always have, not everyone has time to play multiplayer games.
Yeah.
You know?
And Spivey, I love the Sonic racing games, although I don't know how Cross Worlds is going to do now that this is coming out. Because even the Sonic Team Racing one, the last one, it had like a really long, in-depth story mode with like cutscenes and paths and stuff, and it was really cool. And it just gives more playability, not just replayability, but I like it. Because again, I can't convince everyone I know to play Mario Kart all the time, so...
Yeah.
I struggle. My online game of choice right now is Marvel Rivals, and I struggle to find people like online to play that. So, not like general, like friends specifically.
Yeah. I'm curious because like I was actually replaying Super Smash Brothers Ultimate recently.
Oh.
Because I had company over, and we just played a couple rounds of Smash Bros. And it got me thinking like the Spirit World like single player mode in Smash Bros. Ultimate was like okay.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
How do you feel about the Subspace Emissary from Brawl?
Oh, that's like the best. That's like
yeah.
I think I also have mentioned this to you before, but there's a few games that for some reason I decided I wasn't going to sleep until I had finished them in one sitting. And one of those was the campaign in Brawl. So I didn't sleep until I had finished all of it. No, don't recommend, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I also love
to be young again.
Yeah. God, I must have been like, when did that come out? I was 16, 17? 16. I don't, yeah. Was it 2006, 2007? No.
Sounds about right to me.
Okay. Because that's why I love Smash Bros. Melee. Because I like when you're in like Hyrule Castle and you fight your way through all the creepy. What are the creepy mummies called in Zelda? Oh my god. Is it
Tektites? No.
It is something. Redeath. Redeads? Yeah.
Oh, those. Yeah,
Yeah.
not the thick mummies, but
yeah.
the spindly ones from Ocarina.
Yeah, with the like masks or what look like masks on their head. Yeah, when you fight your way through them, and then you have to fight Shadow Link, and then you've got like the recreation of the Mario level, but it's all in 3D. Like, I love that stuff. Way more fun than here's another normal fight. Oh, but your character is possessed by this other character. I'm like, all right.
Cool. The enemy turns metal every now and then. Ooh.
Yeah. People have tried to convince me it was cool, and I'm like, you know what? It's not cool. It wasn't. Better than nothing.
It was like a fun enough way to do enough fights to unlock all the characters.
Yeah.
But like it was not better than okay.
Could you imagine if we had a thing like Brawl, and we had like Sora like cutscenes like fighting alongside Mario and Minecraft Steve. It actually would have been really fun. Like, we were robbed. Unless they do that for the next one, if there is a next one. We shall see.
No, it's just going to be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Plus.
Oh, it so is, isn't it?
Yeah.
With all the DLC in it. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, Sakurai's busy making Kirby Air Riders, so...
Yeah. Which, not mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're totally right. Yeah. Sad.
All right. That's all the news for the episode. Look at that. We're not even an hour in.
Oh.
Now is the time of the show where we talk about the games that we have been playing. And I'm very excited to announce
Drumroll.
that I will be talking about Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth.
Yay!
I finished it. I said in the last episode that I was going to make it my mission to finish it, and I did it.
I was actually thinking of you yesterday because a YouTuber I like called Billiam released like a video about the actual Digivices, like the toys.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I wonder how many hours Hilka spent on Cyber Sleuth.
The answer to that question is about 120.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's like how many hours I have in Fortnite. So that's a lot.
So now you see why it took me so many episodes of saying I'll finish it eventually. Because this game is really, really, really long. I will say, I did do a fairly completionist playthrough. Like, I did almost all of the side quests, and I spent a good amount of time literally just grinding to evolve new Digimon and make my Digimon stronger and try different builds and stuff. So if you just want to blow through the main story with a minimal amount of grinding, because there are points where you just kind of have to grind, genuinely I think you'd still hit about 80 to 90 hours. Like, this game is long. But I can honestly say that it was worth all of the time I spent on it. This game is genuinely one of the best turn-based RPGs I have ever played.
Wow.
And I've played a fair number of them. Like, this is like in the same category as like Final Fantasy VI and like Dragon Quest XI. Like, it's that good.
Ooh.
The basic gist, I'm going to try to not spoil too much of the story because it goes some wild places, and I highly recommend playing it. You are a cyber sleuth, as is indicated in the title of the video game. There's a thing happening in the world called Eden Syndrome, which is people are going into the... I hate that I have to use this word, but that's what the game calls it as well, metaverse of Eden, which is the like... Yeah, it's the digital, not the digital world, but it is the digital overlay of the world. There's like, business happens there. It's what annoying tech bros say the metaverse is going to be in 20 years, even though there's no evidence that that's actually going to happen. Fight me, the 7 people who still use Decentraland. But yeah, some people are logging into Eden and they're just not coming back out. And their bodies are inactive, functionally in a coma. If you enjoy bad anime, you might recognize this as like Sword Art Online Season 1.
I was literally about to say that. And I'm glad you said bad anime, because you're entirely correct.
That show sucks.
Yeah.
It was a really fun hate watch. I watched so much of that show.
Well, yeah, the first arc, I like the first arc, and then they just ruin it. And then, yeah. But yeah, you're entirely correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the bulk of the game is you're jumping between Eden and the physical world, investigating like what's going on with Eden Syndrome, where it came from, what's causing it, who's to blame for it, how it's happening. That all sort of slowly leads to the owners of Eden, which is Kamishiro Enterprises, and their role in the syndrome. In the fiction of this game, Digimon are programs, which I guess they kind of are in like the show and stuff as well. But here, more explicitly, like in the beginning of the game, one of the inciting incidents is you are given the program Digimon Capture that is then tied to your Eden account and avatar, which it is very funny that just having that program automatically classifies you as a hacker, even if you never use it. And Digimon, you can then use that program to capture Digimon, which can then help you do various things in the world of Eden, which is fight other Digimon, fight other hackers who have their own Digimon, capture more Digimon, train Digimon. All it's a critter collector. You've played these. Though I will say it works kind of differently from how you would be expecting from, say, Pokemon, which is the obvious comparison. The main thing is you have a party of, you can have up to 11 Digimon in your party, and 3 of them are active in fights at the same time.
Oh, cool.
And it works on like a turn-based system based on the speed of the Digimon, and on the right side of the screen, I don't know why I'm gesticulating. Nobody can see this. You see exactly in what order, like who's next in initiative, I suppose. And so you can like strategically target different Digimon. Okay, if I knock the Digimon out before it takes its turn, because I know exactly when its turn is, then it won't attack me.
Oh, like Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, or Blue Dragon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was a cool game.
Yeah. Another main way that it's different is Digivolution. Obviously, Pokemon evolve, but if you've seen the show at all, you know that Digimon can Digivolve and de-Digivolve. And in fact, you're going to have to, because not only does de-Digivolving raise the level cap for your Digimon up to 99, it also increases a stat called Ability, I think. Its short form is ABI. And the higher level your Digimon is when it Digivolves, the more ABI it gains. And for some of the like late game Digi-evolutions, you're going to need like anywhere from 20 to like 80 ABI. I've seen 120, I think, is the highest I saw. Which will require a lot of digivolving and de-digivolving, which means a lot of grinding. It's cool because you can experiment with like different evolution paths for your Digimon, because they can change to a different type when they evolve, and therefore get different moves of that damage type that they can add to their repertoire and take with them into different evolutions. But it also kept me from getting super invested in my team like I would in Pokemon, because I would frequently just like lose track of what a Digimon started as.
Yeah.
Like, you get a starter from one of 3 Digimon, and I think I was 10 hours in, and I could not tell you which Digimon was my starter.
It was also like I played a lot of Digimon World on the PS1, and it was really annoying if they evolved into like they ended up going down the track of being like the really ugly ones. I know they have a specific name, I can't remember. And then you'd be like, oh, like, you'd be so far gone, you'd be like, I don't even know what you were and why I liked you to begin with. Because now you just look...
Yeah.
There's one that just looks like a turd.
Yep, there's more than one of those.
Yeah, yeah.
It's also worth noting that there's another stat you have to keep track. I mean, there's a lot of stats you can have to keep track of, but specifically for this, there's also camaraderie, I think, which increases every time that Digimon is in a battle that it wins. And some Digimon require a camaraderie of anywhere from 10% to 25% to all the way to 100% to digivolve into a certain form, mostly the ones that you would recognize from the show. Mm-hmm. Like, if you want a Kabuterimon, you're going to have to evolve your Digimon with camaraderie 25%, for instance. If you want a Greymon, you're going to have to do the same thing. And you can get super duper deep into this, which means creating spreadsheets and flowcharts to create like optimal paths for, okay, I want this move from this Digimon, so I'm going to have to evolve that at this level and then take it to this level to maximize the amount of ABA it gets, to digivolve it back into that one to go down a different path. And you can do that if you're playing on hard, or if you want to get into the PvP, which I would be shocked if it's still active, but you could try. It's not like 100% necessary to beat the story, although it does get pretty hard by the end. So I recommend at least doing a good amount of grinding and choosing like your endpoints slightly carefully. Generally, the more requirements something has to be digivolved into, the better it's going to be. My favorite part, like, you can go super deep into that, and that is definitely something that was very fun for a long time and maintained its funness throughout the entire game. But my favorite part, as it often is the writing. All of the characters are pretty well fleshed out. The dialogue it's like snappy, it's fun. They have a lot of character, I suppose. And they all have their little quirks. Okay. Obviously, your character is a silent protagonist, so you do like respond to certain things with dialogue options, but there's no voice acting for your character. Mm-hmm. But some of your friends, like Nokia, for instance, she's like a little ditzy. She gets things wrong sometimes, but she's like the best person you know at organizing. Like, she starts her own faction, basically, and it's way better organized than any of the other factions in the game. Arata, who is the Sasuke of the game, like, I'm not going to lie, he's the Sasuke of the game. He tries to, he puts on this air of, like, coolness and calmness because he is trying to be the Sasuke on purpose, but he's also doing that to hide that he's a massive dork who really likes like specific like vintage comic books and stuff. And your boss, Kyoko, she's a super like skilled investigator and she knows a lot of things, but she also makes the worst coffee known to man. She will like some of her favorite additions to coffee are mayonnaise,
Ew.
wasabi,
Oh.
soy sauce.
Ugh.
It's just great things that you definitely love to see in a cup of joe. There's also some really fun side characters that you find, especially when you're doing the side quests. And there are some side quests that like refer back to previous side quests that you did like 30 hours ago. Like characters that come back and be like, oh, hey, it's you again.
Oh, I love that.
And yeah, it's a great bit of continuity. I will say the localization is not the best. I am complimenting the writing, but some of it can be a little awkward in how it's been like translated. There's a feature in the game called Digiline, where sometimes your Digimon will just send you messages. And you can respond to them. There'll be like trivia questions or like, "Ooh, I'm ready, coach. Put me in. I'm done training at the farm." And sometimes the responses you send to those Digimon will make like 70% sense. Like in the way that fun fact, I occasionally do translation for money. So I know a thing or two about this. This reads to me like they translated those lines individually without context. So they didn't consider like that this is in response to that question. They just got the text and translated it. Also, there is a particularly egregious case of in some of the like lore documents, for lack of a better word, you'll see the phrase Bakemon, which translates to monster, and that's how they're using it in that game. But frustratingly, Bakemon is also a Digimon that exists, and they are not in fact referring to that Digimon when they are using it in those documents. Also, it's not the best technical-wise, at least the Switch version isn't. There's a multi-level dungeon called Kowloon where you will spend a lot of time in the game. That just runs kind of badly. Like, there were frequent frame rate skips when I was playing in those areas specifically. I think Kowloon is the worst of it. Most of it runs okay. But if you want to avoid that, I recommend playing like the PC or the PS4, or if you're a real champion gamer, you can play the PlayStation Vita version.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because it was originally developed for the Vita, so I was wondering if that might be why.
It's possible. I know that the Switch and the Switch and PC versions were ported by a company that did not, in fact, develop the game. So it is possible that you will see these issues in the PC version as well. I don't know that for sure. I haven't rebought it to test it. But that is something to keep in mind if you intend on playing it on Switch. It's not like a game where reaction time particularly matters, so it's not going to be like disruptive to the gameplay, but it is just ugly.
Yeah.
You know?
Gets annoying.
Yeah. Also, interface, not the most convenient. You can equip your equipment to your two Digimon, but like moving that equipment from one Digimon to another is like a multi-step process. And as far as I could tell, you can't manage the equipment of Digimon that you have stored in your PC. You have to first get them out of the PC, put them in your party, go to the menu, unequip the item, go back to the menu, equip it to the Digimon you want it to be put on.
That's definitely a leftover, like, PS Vita design thing.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Like, it's something that if you're the kind of person who's more bothered by that than I am, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it wasn't annoying, but I would consider it a minor annoyance at best. But if you're the kind of person that is more annoyed by that than I am, I can imagine that being one of those things that kind of adds up and just gets more annoying over time. So that's something to be conscious of, I suppose. I do want to make it very clear. I have talked about a bunch of gripes. Those gripes are fairly minor. Obviously, like on a professional level, I personally find the localization to be the worst aspect of the game. But the story of this game is wild. It's super cool to see how it develops. I highly recommend playing it just for that. I know I am recommending someone, oh yeah, go play a minimum 80-hour game, which is an ask for most people. I realize it took me months to finish it, but it was time well spent. It was time that I would hardly recommend to anyone who likes monster collecting RPGs, turn-based RPGs, Digimon, like, even if you're not that into Digimon. Like I watched the original Digimon when I was a kid,
Yeah.
but I would never consider myself like a big fan of Digimon.
Yeah.
But this game is genuinely excellent. It has a couple warts, but you would do yourself a disservice by not playing it.
Ah. That's good to hear. Are you gonna go right into the sequel?
Depends what you mean by the sequel, because I bought the complete edition on Switch, which includes Hacker's Memory, which is an alternative view on the story of Cyber Sleuth, which is almost as long as Cyber Sleuth itself is. And there are a couple of Digimon in Cyber Sleuth that you can only evolve into if you've completed Hacker's Memory, which I imagine the process that you take is normal Cyber Sleuth, normal Hacker's Memory, New Game Plus for Cyber Sleuth, because that's a thing you can do as well. So if you want to spend an extra 240 hours doing all of Hacker's Memory and then Cyber Sleuth, I suppose you could. I imagine I'm going to be playing Hacker's Memory at some point, but I wouldn't mind playing a shorter game for a while.
Yeah.
But I did see the announcement for the next Digimon story game, and I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, there's there's loads of Digimon games. I know people were disappointed with Survive because it was like a visual novel, and a lot of people don't like those. Although that made me want to play it more because I really like the art style. They need to remaster Digimon World. I still have my original copy, but if they did, that'd be... Well, there was a couple of sequels to that as well. They could do like a collection.
Yeah. Sun and Moon on the DS as well. Digimon World Sun and Digimon World Moon, I think. Did Sun and Moon before Pokemon did.
I didn't know that. That's just interesting.
And so Digimon Story is supposed to be like a spiritual successor to the Digimon World franchise.
Oh.
So you're going to find some amount of like mechanical overlap between the two.
That intrigues me.
But they wanted to get like a fresh take on the narrative, as it were. Because I think Cyber Sleuth is the first story game, the new continuity. Mm-hmm. And then Hacker's Memory is like a take on the story from Cyber Sleuth from the perspective of very different characters. Like I said, I'll probably end up playing it at some point, but I need to play something that isn't 80 hours for a while.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I was going to say, isn't it funny how we kept talking about those Tamagotchi games popping up and then talk about Digimon? It's like full circle.
Yeah.
Because for anyone that doesn't...
Also, if I'm not mistaken, Cyber Sleuth is on PS Plus this month, right?
Yes, it is. Or it already is. Was it this month or last month? This month.
I think it was still this month.
Yeah. There's been quite a few. They add stuff like at the start of the month. Like there's the main PlayStation Plus games, and then they add to the game library subsequently afterwards, so it gets confusing. But yes, it is. I have it attached to my account right now. I am not going to start it because then I will
Yeah,
never.
looking at the notes here, you're playing some other pretty long games at the moment.
Yeah. So like I could probably write a list of all the games that I've started without finishing Unicorn Overlord. But in my defense, I really wanted to play other games. In fact, do you know what I started playing after you said that it was already out? I got that Disney I forgot.
The potion coffee shop game.
Yeah, and I thought it would be like a puzzle thing, but it's literally just a visual novel.
Yeah,
Which I'm not mad at. It's actually really cute. So I have started to play that. And it's because it was only like £13 and the art's really good. And
it is.
yeah, and it's actually really adorable. So I could talk about that because I don't think it's very long. Yeah, it must not be because there's but no, I am mainly playing Master Detective Archives Raincode Plus. Which is by Tokyo Studio, who is the studio of the original creator and writer of Danganronpa and the guy that does the 999 games. They came together and they made a studio, and they're two of my favorite game writers ever because under the belt, they do like AI Somnium Files and things like that. And I like the Danganronpa art style. And I'm halfway through and I'm really enjoying it. It is basically Danganronpa, but without all the, without the OTT dialogue. And it's more right into the murder mystery stuff. You're kind of like an anime Poirot. It's great. It does have some of the because Danganronpa has some bits haven't aged very well, especially the first one, and there is some bits that pop up, and I'm like, ugh. But I think it's more like a cultural thing. But for the most part, it is fantastic so far. I'm actually. Their new game is also out very soon, The 100 Line.
Yeah.
And they're in debt because they made this game. And it's coming to the original Switch. And if people can afford it, please buy it.
Yeah.
Hashtag not sponsored. Just, I love the studio and I want them to keep making games. It's only on the Switch and Steam. There's no PlayStation or Xbox version. But, if it does well, there probably will be. So... wink, wink.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm still playing Unicorn Overlord. But, other things popped up, annoyingly.
Yeah. And in the interest of playing something slightly shorter, I decided to fire up Okami HD on the Switch. I bought it many years ago and then played like half an hour and then put it down.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should probably actually give that a try again. Because I was thinking about like, okay, so what am I going to play next? And all the ideas I had were like Final Fantasy VII.
Oh.
Final Fantasy IX.
Oh.
Digimon Story Hacker Memory. Like all these really, really long games. And I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So Okami seems a lot more reasonable.
Yeah, I did the exact same thing where I got it, played it 30 minutes and then never finished it. So that'll be interesting to hear about. Oh,
yeah. And hey, there's Okami 2 got announced a while back. So
it did, yeah.
Be ready for that.
I did finish, and we didn't talk about it because it was all the hardware stuff. I did finish a Highland Song, actually. I totally forgot about that.
Something for next episode.
Yeah. I wouldn't have much to say about it anyway. It was alright. The accents change, and that annoyed me.
We'll get into it in a more in-depth discussion because I also played it. I didn't finish it, but I would be
Ah,
interesting to compare notes on the show. So we'll do that in a future episode, maybe the next one.
ah.
But before we get to the next one, we do have to sign off from this one. Thank you for listening to the episode. Obviously, this is a more normal length for those of you who have been introduced to us via YouTube. If you are on YouTube, hit like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the bell, all that stuff. I'm going to have to get used to saying that. Of course, stick around for the ending segments with our social medias and stuff. But until then, we will talk to you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of In Focus. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on iTunes. It really helps us get noticed. Also, please tell your friends if you think they'd be interested. Word of mouth really helps too. You can also listen and subscribe on Spotify and other podcast services and YouTube. And if you're listening on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to check out our sister show, Game Podular Unfocused, and follow us on Blue Sky and at gamepodular.com for updates, news, and other content. Links to all of our socials, including our Discord, Mastodon, and Blue Sky, may be found at our link tree. If you'd like to support our shows, you can buy us a coffee or become a Game Podular patron. The details for both are on our website. Thanks! This episode was edited by Hilka, and you can follow him at Gear12Turbo at kind.social on Mastodon or at gear12turbo.bluesky.social on Blue Sky. He was joined today by me, Rosalie, who you can find at littlerecordgirl.bluesky.social on Blue Sky. Have a good one.